Will the Lamido rotate the chairmanship of the Central Zone Council of Chiefs, or will he not? That means that the rules of civil service is protecting the messenger from arbitrary action of government against him. This is absent with the traditional rulers by the provisions of this law. They are at the whims and caprices of the governor. They are not protected. That is the point I'm saying. So while in Kano there will be 2 emirs, in Adamawa there are probably going to be 50. I basically have 3 issues with the bill, or now the bill that has been passed. The first one is the process, the legislative process that brought out this bill. It gives room for suspicion and for mistrust. I read through the bill. The bill creates what is new in the whole thing is the creation of zonal traditional councils. The bill created 3 zonal traditional councils and said it is going to be made up of first class, second class, or even third class chiefs, and the chairmanship of these zonal councils is going to be rotational. So already in the state, we have 8 first-class chiefs, 6 in the Southern Senatorial District, 1 in Central, Ilamido, and 1 in the North, Emir of Mubi. So it goes without saying then that if there is going to be chiefs in these zones, the South already has 6. So it means it is in the Central that more chieftaincies will be established, and in the North, more chieftaincies to be established. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is the process, one of the legislative process. Within a period of less than 48 hours since this bill was submitted, nobody knew when it was even submitted, it was signed into law. I think the rules of legislative rules demands that at least 3 sittings should be done for a bill to be passed. And a bill of this nature obviously needs public hearing. If not so, how do you determine the merit or demerit of the proposal submitted? Some people say that they have already submitted proposals. Those who wanted the districts, the chiefdoms have already submitted their own proposals. I can assure you, because I know this thing, I was a participant in this thing during the military period. For every district or chiefdom that some people applied for, there are others who will apply either against it or apply for it to be given elsewhere. You can only get the merit or demerit of these applications, of these proposals, when you hold public hearing. A central element of this legislative process was ignored. And besides, there is no transparency. Transparency in the deliberation. Public hearing is the highest form of transparency, in a functional democracy. This element itself was, compromised. So whatever that comes out will be at the whims and caprices of the legislators and or the governor. but not of public opinion.
Right.
So there will be no merit in what has been put out. That is one. Then in the bill itself, remember that the bill had, given room for the creation of more chiefdoms in order to compose the zonal councils. Maybe no chiefdom will be created in the south because already south has 6. But certainly there will be in the central, and certainly there will be, in the north. The bill simply allowed the governor to do as he pleases in the creation of these chiefdoms. Why didn't the bill create the chiefdoms and finish this matter so that all the detailed elements of the kingmakers, for example, the customary laws and traditions and so on, all of them will be captured in the law. They did not do that. They allowed it to the discretion of the governor. So whatever the governor now establishes, including the new chiefs, the chiefdoms and the kingmakers and other ways and means of establishing it, they will be outside the law itself. They will be outside the law. They will not have been captured by the law. So it becomes, haphazard. I think it's section 17 of the law states that the Lamido of Adamawa remains the chairman of State Council of Chiefs. That is a permanent position. He is the state chairman of Council of Chiefs. But there is, incongruity in this, because the same law said that the same law established councils, zonal councils, traditional councils, and it said that the chairmanship of these traditional councils, zonal traditional councils, will be rotational. The law did not exclude Central Senatorial District. So does it mean that if the chiefs have been created and then the Council of Chiefs have been created, will the Central Senatorial District also, its chairmanship also be rotational, including the Lamido, seeing that he is the permanent chairman of the State Council of Chiefs? The law did not clarify that. The law should either clarify this or to exempt the Central Senatorial District, the Central Traditional Council from the rotational chairmanship, because the permanent chairman of the state is from that zone. But with regards to the rotation of the Central Senatorial Traditional Council of Chiefs, the law is silent. Will the Lamido rotate the chairmanship of the Central Zone Council of Chiefs, or will he not? Right. If he will not, then the law should say it. If he will, then the law should say it. The law is silent, and this silence, is a cause for problem. Right. Well, it will depend from where you come from. There are those who view the Lamido seat as a symbol of oppression, a symbol of feudalism, a symbol of marginalizing or something like that. There are those also who see the Lamido's stool as a symbol of tradition and long-term history and unity and so on. So people, depending on their idiosyncrasies, they see these tools differently. There are those who will not want to hear that another chiefdom is created in Adamawa State. There are those who they wouldn't want to hear that. But there are those who are clamoring for that. So it depends from where you come.
Okay, are you clamoring for it too?
I don't. It affects me in no way. If they create more chiefdoms in Adamawa State, I have no problem. If they don't create more chiefdoms in Adamawa State, I have no problem. But my problem is, which is the third matter, is that the law as it is, when you create this chiefdom, the chiefdoms themselves, the new ones and the old ones themselves, they don't have protection from arbitrary action of government. When you create a chiefdom, you give a king or a chief, a first class. He has no protection. Both his chiefdom and himself, he is not protected by the law against arbitrary action of, say, the governor. The governor is protected by the law. The governor is a creation of the law. He is protected by the law. I cannot go and remove the governor like this. I have to do certain things, and he has to do certain things before what I will do will get him out. So also is the legislator, so also is the civil servant, including a messenger. A messenger, you cannot just say, I've removed the messenger from his job today. That means that the rules of civil service is protecting the messenger from arbitrary action of government against him. This is absent with the traditional rulers by the provisions of this law. They are at the whims and caprices of the governor, at the pleasure or mercy of the governor. You don't establish an institution and then put people in that institution like that. The law that creates it ought to give it protection and guard. This law did not. So these are my issues. And because of that, it has given the governor unlimited powers over traditional institutions in Adamawa State. Unlimited powers. So you can't operate that way. This is my point. This is what I have said in my article. The fact is that there are two emirs in Kano. This is an indisputable fact. So we wait for the process. It could happen in Adamawa. It could happen in Adamawa, especially the way this law is couched. If another governor comes in with the vulnerability of these traditional rulers and traditional institutions established, he can, with the wave of the hand, remove them. They are not protected. That is the point I'm saying. So while in Kano there will be two emirs, in Adamawa there are probably going to be 50. The way forward is for the governor not to sign this and rephrase the bill and conclude the bill, give it all the details that it needs in order to protect the institution and protect the new leadership that they will put in place against arbitrary action of the governor, and let the bill also establish the institutions, the chiefdoms that they want to establish. It's not just the governor that will do it at his pleasure. Let the process of establishing, passing this bill also be reviewed so that public hearing is heard from it, so that merits and demerits of each and every request for every territory is determined through this legislative process. If not so, we will just be falling back into what do you call it? Nepotic, tendency of either the legislator and or the governor. So we don't operate on the basis of the idiosyncrasy of an individual. You can't run a state like that. That is my position on this matter.
Do you plan to go to court?
No, I don't. I won't go to court. Why should I go to court? It does not it does not require me to go to court. What I have gone to court several times on several things that I was directly involved. I will not go to court on this. There are those who have locals to go to court. But to go to court and say what? The thing is that this bill ought to have created the chiefdoms. But now it's just gave way for the creation of chiefdom, and I'll give the governor 100% unlimited powers to do as he pleases. We don't know the number that can be created. We don't know the size that can be established by it. We don't know how they are going to create it. We don't know what kingmakers and so on. All these things needed to be captured in that law so that we have a conclusive law. But as it is an inconclusive law. And the way they did it, the surreptitious way that the bill was submitted and the members of House of Assemblies legislated of it, I call it Wuja legislation. This is Wuja law. You see, I know Adamawa politics. You know, our Adamawa politicians are what I call, they have dog eyes politics. You know, the eyes of the dog only sees two colors, black and white. The dog doesn't see colors. It only sees things in black and white. If you show it blue, it will see black. If you show it yellow, for example, it will see white. That is how our politics in Adamawa is Fulani Kabila politics. Everything is seen in the prism of Fulani Kabila. So, what would I say on this? Some will see the creation as a Fulani Kabila affair. Some will see it's the benefit for Kabila. Some will see it's a loss for Fulani. Some will see. So because of this, they will accuse it. This accusation you are talking about. I am not into that.